What's up? It's night 5. Yay! I don't even know what I want to talk about. I don't really want to talk about anything. All my basic needs are met. So, that's good. We threw away a bunch of food today, which sucked. It was so much food. We got more to throw away. But the good news is the fridge is cleaned out. Some of that food in that fridge had probably been over a decade old. I guess when I say food, I don't mean like chicken and cheese. The stuff that generally lasts a lot longer. It needed to go anyway. But mentally, I'm struggling. I am struggling. I'm getting really antsy. And I'm way too deep in my head. On top of the hurricane, uh, the main cell phone service we use, which is Xfinity. They use Verizon wireless towers, and they've been having like a nationwide outage, and it's the second day. So I don't even have the distraction of the internet. I know, poor me. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm still struggling mentally. I really am forcing myself to talk to this camera today. You know, the last time I was in this situation, it was 100 times worse. I think this storm was probably worse for the general public. It was more violent because of the wind. It was very violent, like loud storm. But when we had that ice freeze, I can't remember what year it was. It had to have been before 2012. It may have been that year, but it may have been before. That was more of like a quiet, like, you know, destruction. It wasn't quiet for me. It was actually louder. I was living in a ghetto ass trailer park, probably one of the worst areas in the city. It doesn't exist anymore. They just destroyed everybody's trailer and got rid of it. There's no hope for that trailer park. But this trailer park, it was a trailer park in the city, and it was in a field of pine trees. And we got a lot of pine trees where I'm at. They're everywhere. I mean, there's not very many places you could go and not see a pine tree. If you're out in the open. If you're out in the open, you'd probably see one no matter what. But there wasn't really a whole lot of strong winds in the ice storm. Um, just everything was frozen. So I remember listening to Transformers blow up all night, like green lightning. And limbs, like the trees themselves weren't coming down like in this storm, Hurricane Helene. Like they were coming down, but not in mass numbers. But they were dropping branches, like it was raining pine tree branches, like big ones, big thick ones. And some trees did come down. I remember one split a trailer right in half. Um, Ice is surprisingly very destructive. It was kind of crazy. But that night was very scary. I was living in a trailer that had more holes in it than Swiss cheese. Like this thing was falling apart. If you stepped in the wrong spot, you'd fall through. Absolutely infested in cockroaches. Infested. Kind of like the ones you see in them YouTube videos. And like it was wet everywhere in that trailer because it was so leaky, and that was just the shape it was in to begin with. I remember Miss Jean had a garbage bag, two garbage bags full of socks, and thank God they were in my room. I went through so many pairs of socks in those few days because they were always getting wet or sweaty, and it was literally like 20 degrees in my room. No power. Even if we did, like the AC and heating in that trailer, if it didn't ever really work. Even if it did, it would have been a joke. And on top of that, I was going through one of my like biggest like periods of time where drinking was like at my hardest. You know, not only was there a gas station that I never walked to, but like four trailers down was like, I can't remember what we called this lady's house. She was an older lady. Um, but she ran like her own little shop out of her trailer. So people would go over there and you could buy like, it was like going to the gas station almost. You just go over there, get some candy, um, some basic needs stuff that you could buy from her. Like, I know what she was doing was illegal, but, you know, um, and the best part, oh, I loved it. Some nights she would cook dinners and you could buy a plate, and man, that was some of the best cooking I ever had. Probably one of the only good memories I had during that period of time when I was living there. But it was so damn cold, and I was drinking 211s, and ain't no telling what other drugs I was on. Oh, the ladies' shop. You could go over there and, you could buy cigarettes by the singles. That was like the probably one of the main things. You could also, if you had your own like pint bottle of like liquor that was empty, you could buy like she would sell shots. She would fill up your little pint bottle, for a price. Always had liquor, always. So that was like, and it was literally like four trailers down, and it was like I said, going to the gas station, going to the liquor store. You just had, it was just cash only. I bet you if she was still around with today's technology, she'd have that damn card pay on her phone. Whatever the kids use these days. She was good people. That lady. Good cooking. God damn. But, that was like my main source of getting alcohol. Scrounge up some change for a shot. But that first night during that winter freeze, I was strung out, and it was so scary too. It was so scary. Just listening to like all the trees cracking around you and the transformers blowing up nonstop, and hearing the limbs impale like the rooftops of these trailers. Like even ours got, big pine limbs like sticking out of them. I was terrified, and I think I called my mom that night. Like I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to leave, but there really wasn't no safe way out of there. So I toughed it out. I cannot remember how long the power was out. It was definitely over a week. It might have been 2 weeks. But man, that was difficult. We barely like had food in that house as is. Like I was so much worse off as a person, as in location, as in how the storm affected me and where I was living. I think this hurricane has been a lot worse for other people. And even though I've been very lonely and ain't had hardly anybody there for me through this, you know, I do have reliable food. I do have reliable water. I do have reliable shelter. The damage on our property was very minimal. I'm still getting my nicotine fix. I can still make a cup of coffee in the morning if I want to. I can still take a hot shower. I have access to lights, even at night. I'm able to talk on this phone, even if it's just for a little while. And each day, like, all these things, like, get a little bit worse, you know? But I know, like, everything's gonna be alright by the time I'm in any kind of real emergency. So, in all those aspects, you know, I'm doing great. Eventually, the power will be back on, and life will go back to normal. Yippee. I'm so thankful for what I have and the situation I'm in. For some reason, I just can't get there mentally. I guess that's all I have to say. Don't want to kill the battery too much because we're running out of ways to charge our devices. I had to take a guess. I really thought we were going to get power today. Because, for the last 2 days, they've been working on the lines outside of our neighborhood, but maybe tomorrow. I'm hopeful for tomorrow. What I really want is cell phone service. All right. Well, I'm going to end part 4, night 5. I'm hanging in there. It's not the end of the world. It's simply just first world problems.